Welcome everyone back to the Growing Money with Sean Trace podcast. I have a very special guest with me today, Dr. Maria Nemeth, and I would love if you could introduce yourself a little bit more for my guests to know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Oh, I am thrilled to do that, Sean. And let me tell you first, just how privileged I am to be talking with you. You know, I know you're up to some really big things, and I'm just happy to be with you. So my name is Dr. Maria Nemeth, and got my PhD in psychology from UCLA. So for a number of years, I was practicing as a psychotherapist. I have written some books. The first one is called The Energy of Money, which I'm so grateful. It's considered to be one of the classics in how to transform your relationship with money from scarcity to abundance, or as I say, from scarcity to a bun dance.
I love that.
That book got me on the Oprah show. I've written something called Mastering Life's Energies, which is the last book I've written. And I have a couple podcasts just like you.
Yeah.
I am the founder and director of the Academy for Coaching Excellence. It's an internationally acclaimed academy for training coaches. And I just love to talk with people about money, about their goals and dreams, and what they see is getting in the way, which, incidentally, Sean, may not be getting in the way. It's just the way we look at them, as
I
you
love that.
undoubtedly already know.
I started going down this path, and I talk about this quite often on my podcast, of exploring this topic because I have this young daughter, and I'm trying to instill in her money values that I didn't necessarily have instilled in me, or just information. And one of the things that I remembered, my brother posted a photo the other day. It was his birthday. My mom posted a photo of him riding a bike when he was small. And I remember he was a little bicycle rider. He rode this little green and white bike. And then he raced, and now he still rides motorbikes, even mountain bikes, even though it's for fun. And he loves bicycles. And I remember the movie that kicked that off was a movie in the 80s we all watched called Rad. And Rad was this 80s movie. It was just a typical 80s movie. And I had forgotten about it a little bit, but then I went back and rewatched it yesterday. 2 days ago. And one of the things that was interesting was that I didn't realize how the villain in that movie was kind of this quintessential villain for my whole life. That's the person that I visualized as a villain. And then the good guy was always, it was a real foundational film for me, even though it was not that great of a movie. It was funny, it was campy, it was full on 80s, but it was really a core thing for me. And then one of the real things I didn't realize until I watched it again last night was the dynamic around money in that movie. There was a wealthy business owner who was the bad guy, and he was trying to take advantage of this small town and all its people.
Wow.
And he was the sponsor of a mountain bike company, and he put on this big race, and he was all about profits. And one of the things that I noticed was that right there early on, and I was like, wow, that is a foundational money belief that kind of stuck with me, that these people, these businessmen that have money are evil. And why I bring that up is that we have these money beliefs that seep into us from early on, and that we don't necessarily know they're there. And as you start to wake up to this energy, you can become aware of it. If you're sitting in a room full of purple flowers, but you have not been taught what colors are, you're not going to appreciate that you're in a room full of purple, and that maybe you would like to change it to green or yellow. Now, you say that money is like energy, but what does that mean? What does the energy of money talk about?
Well, money, the word, is so interesting, isn't it?
Right.
We think that it is a something. Now, maybe 300 years ago, you could say, I have some gold in my hands. I'm going to
Yeah.
call this money. It's because it's worth something.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, then uh, it, silver came along, and silver was meant something. Then in banks, instead of having silver, after you give them your silver, they give you something called a certificate of deposit of
Mm-hmm.
silver. And this is supposed to be valuable in and of itself. Later on, um, we get paper money. We get all kinds of now money is a blip on a computer screen.
Yeah.
I mean, really. And people's lives are either enhanced or lost if this blip moves one way or the other. So really, I saw early that money is only worth something because we say so. That's called
Yeah.
money by fiat because we say so. But it's really energy. For example, Sean, let's say I have a lawn and I need it to be mowed.
Yeah.
And so I give the kid next door a $10 bill and I say, would you please mow this lawn? Immediately, it's changed into energy
Mm-hmm.
because that's what he does. I discovered that money is neither good nor bad, this energy. Um, it's just like electricity. You can either use it to light up a room or you can get shocked by it if you stick your finger in a light bulb. But the bottom line is that there are really 6 forms of energy that we have come here to learn to use. There's the energy of money,
Yeah.
the energy of time, and time and money. Do you see how they're like
It's
they almost
interwoven.
substitute? Yes, exactly. The next energy is the energy of physical vitality, meaning having a relationship with your body that allows you to do what it is you want to do in life.
Yes.
Then there's the energy of creativity, the ability to work around obstacles, for example, being able to problem solve, the energy of also creativity to bring forth that which has not been here before. The next form of energy is the energy of relationship. And we know how important that energy is, because we're not designed to be living alone. We need one another. And then, of course, the energy of enjoyment, because whatever you enjoy uh, will automatically prosper in your hands. If you enjoy your work, if you enjoy your business, if you enjoy the value that you bring to people, you see that's a real valuable energy. So there's the
Oh.
6 forms.
There was something that we had a pre-interview before we scheduled, and there was
Mhm,
a in that conversation there was something that was mentioned that I wanted to dive into more.
mhm,
In that I read up more on this, and I had heard about it before, that there are scientists that believe the Earth, the world, the universe is essentially a hologram. And there was something that you had said that was really intriguing to me, that was working energy in one area automatically can work it in another. So if you're improving your wellness, it can improve your finances. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Oh
Because that was
yeah,
so
absolutely. You
interesting.
know, the idea of a hologram, as you know, Sean, is that every little piece in that hologram contains information about the whole.
Yeah.
If you take a holographic picture of a tree and you smash the holographic plate and shine a laser through that little piece, you'll see the whole tree still.
That's wild.
It won't have as much information. It won't be as distinct, but you will still see the whole tree. And many scientists have come to think, one by the name of David Bohm, who was a very brilliant physicist. He said, it could be that our lives are holographic, that um, In a hologram, whatever you do has influence on everything you do.
Yes.
And I saw out of that when I read that how you are with money is how you are with all of your life. So if you wish to become financially successful, and you and I could talk about what financial success really is, but in essence, financial success has to do with you being able to do something with the energy of money, predictably, with clarity, focus, ease, and grace. Where clarity is about, you're clear about what you want to use money for. Focus means you're focusing your brain on what has value for you. Ease means you learn how to take small, sweet steps toward whatever goal you have, financial goal, for example. And of course, grace has to do with being grateful for what you currently have. It came to my thoughts that if we apply the principle of the hologram to our lives, that the act I do in one area immediately influences my whole life. Right. For example, let's say that let's say that you walk by a newsstand and the newsstand is open,
Yeah.
and you notice the newspapers are there, and you look around, no one's looking, so you take one of them without paying for it. And you start walking away from it. Immediately, something begins to happen. Every little bit that you walk away from that deed, your life becomes a little darker. Possibilities start to shrink up a little bit. Why? Because inherently, whether we like it or not, we are basically very moral people. We have internal values. Now, let's say that you turn around and go, oh my gosh, I didn't pay for it. This is not good. I'm not even enjoying looking at the paper right now. You go back and you pay for it. Immediately, the light comes back on, not only in that moment for that paper, but you begin to see other possibilities for yourself in life, having to do with maybe your health, having to do with a relationship. But the point is that energetically speaking, what you do in one area of your life immediately contributes to your whole life. That's why it's important to act in accordance with what's important to you, what your internal values are. Because as you do so, the light becomes brighter and brighter and brighter.
I love that. I actually have been doing my doctorate in Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and one of the concepts there is that there is this understanding of this whole integrated system, that the energy of all aspects of us flow into everything. And it's really wild. This week, scientists did a imaging, I believe it was an electron microscope imaging of quantum entanglement for the first time. And the image that came back was the yin yang. And it was just these two things. And it was just like everyone in that community is like, this is amazing. What I bring that up is that there is this wholeness, that wellness in Chinese medicine is defined by balance. It's not defined by some point that you're trying to reach. It's defined by balance. And and then what I love about you, these different energies that we have, that we are coming to work with in our life. One of the things that you can see, and we see this, I mean, there are all these archetypes in movies and other places. Someone might be happy yet financially not there. They might be wealthy yet their health is not there. And it's that when you are out of balance of all these areas, like there's a richness. I had a job offer about a year and a half ago, and it would have taken me away from what I do with my wife and daughter. And when people ask me what I want to do, it's this. I want a podcast. I really want the YouTube channel I do with my daughter to take off. And we're slowly and steadily climbing there. We have 10,000 followers now, and we just put out great, fun, engaging content for children, because I saw as my daughter was growing up that there was a lack of good information for kids to see, and that YouTube was a place that they all went, but there was needed to be more good stuff. Now, as I find my balance and I had the option to do this and that, I said, you know what? One of the most important things for me is family, these relationships. That is of super value to me. And no amount of sacrificing in other areas was that important for me. And so I love what you're talking about, but finding balance, but also I've found that I lean toward this side, and then this side, the financial side, for me was always neglected. And so I love this wellness being all aspects, working with all of these energies. And so, yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, along those lines, and very practically speaking, I once worked with a woman who, call her Sally for want of a name, but she was just off welfare. And she said, Dr. Maria, I want to have a financial portfolio. That I don't even know what the words mean, but I heard someone talking about their financial portfolio. And I want to be able to go to parties and say, hello, my name is Sally, and I have an investment portfolio. So she decided that she was going to save $50 a month and put it in this investment portfolio account in a bank. And she had to clean extra houses because she was cleaning homes for this. But at the end of the year, she had $600 that she put in this investment portfolio. And when I saw her, she did not look like the same woman.
Mm-hmm.
She was excited. And she said, Dr. Maria, I'm going to put $100 in now every month. The second year I saw her, and she had new clothes. She was putting herself through school. She wanted to be an entrepreneur, she said. And a few years later, I remember having lunch with a friend, and I heard this laugh. And I turn around, and there's this woman, nicely dressed, talking to another woman at lunch, and it was Sally. And she had a virtual assistant business.
That's awesome.
Now, started with $50.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to people, you want to be wealthy? Where's your $50 going?
Yes.
What are you putting it toward? Are you using it? Are you focusing it? Or are you wasting it? Start small, but be consistent. And you have no idea how it's going to affect the rest of your life.
I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and one of the things that I was pointing out is that we are teaching her where she puts her time and energy. Mm-hmm. And she loves video games, and I have nothing against video games, but I'm trying to show her that when she plays this game, and I will stand by the game that I let her play because it's an architectural game, she gets to build things. And so she still is building, and she builds houses in the virtual realm, and she's a little artist, and she loves designing these things. But I showed her that every time, the time that she spends on that time is not going to other things. So that if she wants to see her cousins, if she wants to go to get an ice cream, if she wants to do these things, and that time is already taken, that is a finite resource. Your time is a finite resource. And I said, you know what? I'm giving you choices to look at here because I want you to see that you have the power to choose where you spend your money, where you spend your time, and choose wisely. And one of the things that she started to do is she started to identify, well, if I do this, then I can't do that. But it's about starting that relationship. How do you recommend people begin to start the relationship with their finances, with money, with this energy? What's a good way to get started? You said starting by where are you putting that $50? What else can they do?
Exactly. So, uh, it's terrible to say, okay?
No, say it.
Because people want a different question, usually. Do you have a budget? It's like a farmer
Yeah.
has a pool of water and has to look at how much of this water am I going to spend growing crop? How much of this water am I going to spend feeding my cows? How much of this water am I going to spend with my family so that we can drink this water?
Yeah.
It's the same with money. There is a program called You Need a Budget, or YNAB. And it helps you figure out where you're going to put the energy of money, which is the same as water, okay? Where are you going to put it? Because if you are unaware of what you're doing, your brain is going to start to make up a lot of stories about you and yourself.
Yeah. So true.
It's impossible. I'll never be rich. I see other people being rich, and it's never going to happen to me. It could happen to you easily. There's another book that came out 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It's called The Millionaire Next Door.
Yes.
How ordinary people became millionaires. A third book is called How to Get Out of Debt, Stay Out of Debt, and Live Prosperously. Now, people say to me, Dr. Maria, wait, I want to talk about the bigger things in life, because this is not very sexy to say, first, look at where you are with this energy and what you're doing. And it's hard to believe that if you handle this energy consciously, it's going to grow.
I love that.
It's going to grow. And as it grows, the rest of your life is going to blossom. But instead, sometimes people say, yeah, but wait, I want to be able to manifest more money in my life. Well, to that, I say, are you in a place where if you started to manifest money, you would know what to do with it? Think about all the times in your life when you did manifest money.
Yeah.
What did you do with it?
Right.
Because you've got to get ready to receive the manifestation.
There's two things that I love that I want to tap in on. The first is, I remember a couple years ago there was a story about a gentleman who was in a retirement home, and he was 95, and he had just met and married the love of his life. She was 93. And when people came and interviewed him, they say, are you sad that it was this late in your life that you met the person that you wanted to love, or the love of your life? And he's like, not at all, because I wasn't ready until now.
There you go.
And it was beautiful, and I was just like, wow, right there. He recognized that he had all these experiences that he needed to learn to be ready to handle this level of love, because he wasn't ready to handle that much love and to be gifted that much love yet.
There you go.
the other thing too is the I want to write a book, and I'm writing one book. And it's something I'm doing on my other podcast. I am doing these talks, and as I'm doing the talks, I outline them, then I do the talk, and then I take that and I take my transcript and I clean it up, and then I use that and turn it into a chapter. And my book on self-help is how to not be an a-hole. And that's literally, I was like, if I can communicate one thing to my daughter and teach one thing, if I can teach more people how to be nice to each other, and I joke about it, but literally it's about how to be nice to each other. But I want to write a financial book as I learn more and later on about your financial superpowers. What are the things that you can do? Because we hear the word budget, we're like, ooh, we hear all of these different things financially, and people get into this cringe. But I loved when I started. I'm a black belt in judo, Japanese style jiu-jitsu, which is essentially judo. And one of the things too is that when I went to school, and I also studied Muay Thai for years and many martial arts, and I know what I'm doing now. I can defend myself. I can take care of myself quite well. But one of the funny things is that when you go to class, your first week, your first month, the first thing that everyone thinks that they're going to learn is how to throw someone across the room, how to punch someone, how to kick something. My teacher, the first day I went to class, taught me how to put my pants on, how to put my, and it wasn't fancy. But when you sit there and look at it, if you do not tie your judo pants correctly, because it's actually not that easy, there is a special type of tying on them. If you don't tie them correctly, you're going to be mid-throw and your pants are going to fall off. And that's not going to help anyone. Sometimes the stuff that seems very unglamorous is actually glamorous. We love, pop culture loves to digest these superhero movies, but we always see them fighting and flying and doing these things. But you know what? There was at some point in time where they had to put on their pants too. They had to wake up in the morning and go, all right, time to put on these superhero pants. And that very unattractive stuff, people don't realize it is that stuff done again and again and again. You want to become a great basketball player. Well, what's one of the most important things you can learn? How to tie your shoes, how to put your shoes on, because there are no professional NBA players who do not know how to tie their shoes. Every single one of them, they probably have a way that they tie their shoes that protects their feet and their ankles. And that is where they start, because your power as a basketball player, you watch a basketball game. Let's get a professional basketball game where everyone's playing in their socks. It's not going to happen. People are going to be slipping and falling down.
Sure.
And with finances, these same tools that are so not glamorous are actually the foundational points for getting things together and fixing your money situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's also another book, and
I love books, so
twice
this
a
is
year.
great.
Yeah, twice a year, I have I call it the Money Mindset Reboot,
I love that.
and the book's name is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, who lived in the very early 1900s, and people have said that he actually was one of the first metaphysical teachers on the scene in America. And he drew from all kinds of places. But The Science of Getting Rich is an incredible short treatise on how to prepare yourself to become rich.
I love
And
that.
every year, I have this money mindset reboot where I show people how to read select chapters in this book. They do it for 90 days. And if they stop, they start over again. But at the beginning, since there are 4 chapters that I tell them to read, each week for 4 weeks, I devote to a podcast situation where we study that chapter. A number of people finish the 90-day money mindset reboot and find miracles in their life having to do with money. But once again, It's repetition, repetition,
Yeah.
repetition. And if you start over again. Why? Because the brain has to be infused continually for 90 days with this information before you start really taking it in.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to be part of my money mindset reboot, I can give you a way to
Oh,
contact me. It's absolutely free.
how can people look you up for that?
Well, the best way to do it is through my academy, the Academy for Coaching Excellence. And if they're interested, all they have to do is contact the man who helps me run this money mindset reboot. His name is Wayne Manning, but he goes by Wayne at acecoachtraining.com.
Awesome.
And if they get a hold of him and ask, when's the next money mindset reboot? I think it's in the next month or two.
Awesome. Well,
But as I said,
I'm gonna join.
oh,
That is
please,
for sure.
please. It's absolutely free. And the 4 chapters that I ask you to read are, many people say, are the most powerful chapters in his book.
That's awesome.
And, it's 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. And then every day it takes, Sean, it takes maybe 20 minutes a day to read those 4 chapters because they're very short.
I think
But
that
it really puts you on this road to prosperity, along with your budget, along with
yeah.
any other thing that you need to do to prepare the ground to accept, let's just say, the energy of the water known as money that's going to come to you. You have to be prepared.
Yes. The studying Chinese medicine again, there is the concept of qi, this
Mm-hmm.
energy that
Yes.
flows through all things. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I've seen is that, studying this art, there is the science, but there's also the magic. And there is intention, there is thought. And
Mm-hmm.
I try to remind people that we live in a very magical world. A world where the other day I was thinking about this friend, and then later that day I bumped into them. Someone I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
seen in years. There's a magic that surrounds us,
Mm-hmm.
in that if you can start to look at that, there is a concept that I like to talk with my friend about. We believe, and we will do a meditation about an energetic garden. This garden that you go to in your mind and you plant seeds for what you
Mm-hmm.
want. And one of the things that I will do is we'll do a visualization where we clean out that garden, where we look at what's in there and we clean out things that are not that what we planted, and planting new seeds. We
Mm-hmm.
visualize this. And one of the things too is I believe that there is a magic in those places, and that one of the things that we talk about is that many people plant seeds that they are not aware of. Their garden is full of things that they are not aware of, or they might have a garden that they don't even tend to.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this concept of looking at these things. An hour a week can be enough to bring light to a garden that you have not attended. Because let's be
Mm-hmm.
real, an hour in the gym, that's a lot of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
If you can start consistently looking at that, you can create big change in your life.
Yep. Yep. There you have it.
Yeah.
So
One last question. How do you recommend people balance these different energies in their life? How can people really seek out and find balance in their money, time, and all of these other energies that you look at?
the answer is often quite simple. It has to do with living without regret.
Oh,
Now, um, that's actually the title of my next book that I'm writing even as we speak. that what we want to do is at any moment, we want to know that we are living the life we are meant to live.
I love
And regret happens often when there's something either we haven't done that we've always wanted to do and can no longer do. For example, there's a woman who said to me, Dr. Maria, I was coaching her, and she said, I've always wanted to ski a lot. I went down some mountains a few years ago. I loved it, but I kept putting it off. And now I cannot do it because I have osteoporosis and I can't, if I fall, I'll break my bones. And she said, I'm full of regret. And I said to her, look, I understand that, but let's look at something here. Let's have you make a list of everything you regret not having done. And she made a list. It can be maybe 10 items. Now, you know that each of those items involves all 6 forms of energy: money, time, creativity, physical vitality, enjoyment, and relationship. You look at each one of those items and you say to yourself, all right, am I willing to do this, whatever it is that I regret? I will regret it for the rest of my life if I don't. Am I able to do it? If not, am I willing to substitute an item and put it at that place instead? Something that I know I still can do, and I would regret if I didn't do it. Make a list of things that, first of all, you regret not having done, and then do something about it to the extent that you can. And it can even have to do with, I regret not writing to my brother enough.
Yeah.
All right. Is he still alive? Yes. Start writing to him.
Right?
Right? If he's not alive, who else can you write to
Right.
that you would regret in the same way you regret not writing your brother? So make a list of your regrets, and for each one of them, resolve to either do them, or if it's not possible, what can I put in its place so that at any moment in your life, when you look at your life, you can see that you're really on this golden path. There are no regrets. You've handled things that need to be handled, and you've had fun where you've always promised to have fun. I remember one woman who said, you know what? I've always wanted to go on a cruise. I haven't done it, and I'm just going to do it because if I don't, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. Boom, she did it. She was energized. Her whole life was energized. Does it
Yes.
make sense?
It makes complete sense. I believe, are connected energetically to all of these places around us. And I believe
Yes.
that regret is a drain. It's a drain on some of that energy. And it like as you walk away from that newspaper, I believe
Yeah.
things that we long for will always hang over us unless we can find a way to close that door, or to
Yes.
say,
Yeah,
I
handle it.
love you, I
Complete
thank
it.
you. Complete
Yes,
it.
complete it.
Finish it up.
Yes.
Finish up that circle.
So I think we've pretty much come full circle in this conversation, haven't we, my
We have.
friend?
And I want to say thank you so much for coming on today. It has been a
Oh, you're
beautiful,
so welcome.
beautiful time.
And if anyone wants to get a hold of me, I suggest that they do one of two things. One is that I have an assistant who always receives messages for me now. Her name is Monica at acecoachtraining.com. They can very easily go onto my website, marianemeth.com, and get a hold of my articles that I write. I've written about 110 of them over the past 2 years. And there's a place you can get in touch with me at marianemeth.com. And I would love to hear from anyone who has questions. And, I'm still doing lots of coaching. I'm a master certified coach with the International Coach Federation. And if people are interested in talking about coaching, either with me or with one of my colleagues, once again, Monica at acecoachtraining.com, and we'll take care of them.